million is at stake today.
Of course, you've got to take your wife shopping.
Go racing.
I think my wife will take care of most of it.
I sent it to Eccleston Hospital for all my little kids. Every one of them.
Oh, we're going to blow it. We're going to go partying. We're going to have fun with it. That's no doubt about that.
And a shot at the money begins with the first round of the Four Champions Challenge at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Round 4 of the United Speed Alliance Racing Hooters Pro Cup Series becomes round 1 of the Four Champions Challenge here today at Myrtle Beach Speedway. The Mark Brooks Memorial Hooters 250 presented by Black's Tire Services. Hello and welcome everyone to great racing and big money. To honor a lost champion, a racing series has been built from scratch to turn young drivers into future champions. A special race is dedicated in the memory of each person lost in the fatal plane crash that took the lives of Alan Kulwicki, Mark Brooks, Charlie Campbell, and Dan Duncan. Robert Brooks, CEO of Hooters, decided to start the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Racing Series in memory of his son and 3 close friends. This race is dedicated to Mark Brooks, who was only 26 years old when he lost his life. We think he would be especially honored by this tribute.
Hello everyone, I'm Brian Dreber, and this is the Carter Grandel number 16 that Mario Gosselin will drive a little bit later on here tonight. A year ago, he opened his account in the Four Champions Challenge by winning here at Myrtle Beach, starting from the pole, lost a lap, but came back to win anyway. And that's the kind of effort it's going to take with an experienced driver like Mario, because here's what you have to do. To win 2 races, you get $25,000. Win 3, that's $50,000. Win 4 of the Four Champions Challenge races, that's $100,000. Do that and the championship victory, and you've got $500,000. But don't start spending the money here tonight, because it's going to take 17 races all the way till the end of the season before that money gets handed out. It's a tall order, and you've got to stand tall in some very deep water in order to earn the Four Champions Challenge bonus. There's going to be some big fish swimming out there tonight, including Mario Gosselin, who says he likes a challenge. Well, that's good, because he's starting at 27th spot. He's got a long way to go to the front. And by the way, Bill Venturini, the top 4 qualifiers here tonight are all rookies.
Yeah, all right, Brian, top 4 are rookies, but how many have won? It's been the veterans. But tonight we're not talking about that. We're talking about money. The Four Champions Challenge money, $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 bonuses. That's what's bringing these drivers out in record numbers. 61 entries for tonight's show. 58 took qualifying times. That's what's bringing crowds like this out to these races, to see these many guys competing. They're here for the money, but that's not just it. They're here for the experience. This is the grassroots stepping stone racing series of today. Let's go to Stephen Cox.
Well, he may be a rookie on paper, but Jason Sarvis knows this racetrack. He knows it very well. He won here 4 times in the local Myrtle Beach Speedway late model division. In fact, he ended up the 1999 series champion, so he knows his way around the racetrack. Jason is inside row number 2, but the Discount Auto Parts Pole Sitter Award goes to this guy, Clayton Rogers, and I gotta ask him, Clayton, what is the difference between the races you ran last year and the huge performance increase just in the last 2 shows?
Well, last year we were running late model stock, and we were concentrating on doing well in that up at Concord Motorsport Park. And we just wanted to get some experience in the Hooters Pro Cup Series last year so we could really come after it this year. And we started off kind of slow, but it's coming together and getting better and better, and I'm looking forward to every race.
And Clayton Rogers is our Discount Auto Parts pole position winner for tonight's race here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. All season long, the drivers look towards the end of the season and the championship. This is the way they stack up right now with 2 great veterans, Gosselin and Gill, the eye of the storm at the top of the standings.
Bill Clemens having one of his better seasons, along with Charlie Ford, who's 8th in the points right now.
A couple of rookies in the top 10, but the rookie points themselves is a competition within the competition, and John Woods, the class of the field right now. A lot of rookie drivers at the front of the starting grid, and we're getting ready to fire the engines. So for that, let's go downstairs to Hooters Chairman Bob Brooks.
On behalf of my son Cubby, my daughter Bonnie, my wife Tammy,
her son Jarrett, and all the 4 champions' families will welcome you here tonight. And with that done, let's say, gentlemen, start your engines.
Clayton Rogers and 40 additional drivers fire the engines here for the race tonight at Myrtle Beach Speedway on the threshold of a $500,000 bonus. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series has been brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by Jackaroo Sauces. Jackaroo tastes so great they named a steakhouse after us. By Naturally Fresh Dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. And by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. Pre-race ceremonies just about to wind down. Hello, girls, and hello to all the folks in the stands and you at home at the Mark Brooks Memorial 250. Our Renegade Race Trailers weather report. Here's the weatherman, Bill Venturini.
Beautiful day to be at the racetrack, but I'm not so sure it'd be a beautiful day to be in the race car because it's going to be hot tonight.
A lot of changes here at Myrtle Beach Speedway over the last couple of years, some of which will affect the race here tonight, Bill.
Yeah, the way you enter pit road, you come in off of turn 3 now, so that's kind of new. They got to get used to that.
They paved the track recently, but to look at the surface, you wouldn't be able to tell. As we take a look at our Jackaroo Sauces starting grid, we'll get to that in a moment. Clayton Rogers with a new track record by 35 thousandths of a second sits on the pole with John Wood in the GoRacing.com entry alongside. Jason Sarvis, the defending track champion here, is inside row 2 with Stacy Purrier, who continues his good qualifying efforts.
Finally, row 3, we get some veterans. Mike Laughlin Jr. in the Valenite 204, and starting next to him, a definitely seasoned veteran, Johnny Rumley in the Coors Light Chevrolet.
Jay Fogelman goes in the number 4 car, the high-tech fabrication Hillcrest entry with Sean Studer in the Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink car number 36 on row number 4. Row 5 starts with Charlie Ford, the veteran's having his best season ever, and Bobby Gill, the defending series champion, is outside in the 10th position.
Row 6, inside, we've got Kevin Barrett starting the number 11 Chevrolet, and next to him, Brian Vickers, again a rookie in the CV Products Chevrolet.
A lot of these rookie drivers with good qualifying efforts. Another one outside, row number 7. Jeremy Bowser's on the inside in the 58 car with Regan Smith. As we go back to row number 8, you'll see another rookie, Curtis Davis, no sponsor on his car. That should change. Talented young driver. And Bill Plemons, a great veteran in the number 15 Hooters car.
Inside row 9, Mark Nesbitt in the State Fair brand Corn Dog Chevrolet. Starting next to him outside, car number 76, Shane Kennedy in the Northgate Muffler Ford.
Row number 10 has Steve Christian in the Zero Lucas Oil Products Chevrolet and Marty Lindley in the Alleluia Ford Taurus. A couple of guys who also feel that they could have done better in qualifying. Rookie driver Keith Woody makes his second start of the year in the number 83 Sandvik Coromant Company entry, alongside Dexter Knipe in the 55 Cars Plus Chevrolet. Then it's Robert Elliott in a Chevrolet back on row number 12, Elliott's sawmilling car, and Mark King, number 82, goes in the Busch Motorsports entry.
Inside row 3, Jerry Rector in the Red Squirrel Chevrolet, and outside of him, Mike Herman in the Today's Fireplace Pontiac.
A lot of drivers here today. Mario Goslin is all the way back on row number 14 in his number 16 car, the Irmo Grading entry, and Toby Robertson is back there with him in the number 87 out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Inside row 15, Daryl Hayes in the Carlin Financial Chevrolet, and outside him, Buggy Dave Pletcher in the Big Daddy's Chevrolet.
Andy Thurman, also a disappointing qualifying effort in the 47 Naturally Fresh Mountain Springwater car, with Shane Huffman in the Johnsonville Bratwurst entry. We go back to row 17 and we find Randy Gentry in the Georgia Boot car number 37. He rented from Don Sprouse, and Jeff Agnew, the 98 Series champion.
Row 18, inside, Robert Powell in a Chevrolet, and starting next to him, Marty Ward in the Work Boots Chevrolet.
Final 2 qualifiers on time. Trent Owens goes in the number 32 1-800-B Petty car, and Tim Clayton in the Budweiser Chevrolet. And then provisional starts for Don Satterfield in the Hawksaw Blades #1, Chris Diamond, who twice won the Hart Charger Award, and finally to round out the field, Derek Kelly with a brand new race car. And I mean, Harold Hopper and the guys just could not get that car to do a thing that they wanted it to. Look at the guys that didn't make the field.
Look how many didn't make the field.
Yep, there you go.
I mean, that's the big subject today, was how many guys have showed up to run these races and had to send so many guys home. They even increased the field for today's race just to help everyone to be able to race.
A total of 41 cars, and onboard cameras begin with number 51. Buggy Pletcher goes in the Big Daddy's barbecue sauce car. Off the back deck, we're going to get a look from the number 16 to Carter Grandel, Irmo grading 16 of Mario Gosselin, and that's where he hopes to keep everybody once he gets to the front, if he does. Keith Woody in the Sandvik Coromant Company car number 83, we said, his second start. Hello, Woody, up there on the dash.
How about you, Bill? You got a copy? Yeah, I got you, Dale.
Yeah,
Dale Burns.
Working tires are good. We're starting off with low air.
Bill Plemons and crew chief Dale Burns talking in the 15 Hooters car. And finally, Stacy Puryear goes with the Black's Tire Services entry number 92. And they picked a fine driver to put a camera on and their name on here tonight.
Boy, did they have a nice pre-race ceremony for all their customers out.
And the cars are out there on the racetrack trying to get a little bit of heat in the tires before it gets started. And let's listen in again on Dale Burns and Bill Plemons.
Okay, Bill, pace car is off. I'm going to leave it open. Be ready. Be ready. 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 Go, go, go. Green's out.
And with the wave of the flag from Jared Oates, we are underway here with the Mark Brooks Memorial Hooters 250 presented by Black's Tire at Myrtle Beach Speedway. And jetting out to a lead, and look at the lead of Clayton Rogers. He wants to put an exclamation point on his pole qualifying. John Wood, fellow rookie driver, running in second spot. And behind them, the rest of the field of 41 cars.
The last race before this, John Wood did that over when we were at Ace Speedway. He got the jump on everyone, just like number 2 Clayton Rogers just did. Boy, did Clayton get a good jump on that start.
John Wood working with Stacy Puryear right behind him, and the number 27 Coors Light car of Johnny Rumley, first veteran in the field, has moved up. Then it's Jason Sarvis in the number 50 car.
I think he's stuck on his back bumper, and I meant literally. Do you see how close he was tucked underneath Johnny Rumley?
Well, Sarvis has a lot of laps on this track. As we mentioned, he is the defending track champion here at Myrtle Beach Speedway, making his first start in a Hooters Pro Cup race for the year 2000. And he is stuck right behind Johnny Rumley, but he won't rattle that driver in that 27 Coors Light car. And we've got our first spin on the racetrack as the 83 of Keith Woody goes around. And in the company of the 59 car, that's Elliott. Robert Elliott out of Hampton, South Carolina, one of the local favorites, you might call it here. He's got a lot of fans in the stands here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Let's have another look here. There you can see Woody is already sideways, and around goes Elliott in the aftermath. And Jeff Agnew standing on the binders down low, stays out of trouble. From on board, Mario Gosselin. Whoa! Well, Mario did a good job.
Well, I don't think Mario had much choice. I think he got a little help there.
Well, he got tagged. We're on board with Buggy Pletcher a little bit deeper in the field, and he's got a front row seat for that duet. And he drops down a gear and keeps on going. And from on board with Keith Woody, yep, as suddenly as that happened, he got some help. And it looked like the 87 going on its way. Toby Robertson out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, continuing on behind him.
Boy, did he do a nice job of getting that car restarted, and he kept right on going.
In any case, we're under our first caution of the night here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Stay with us. We'll be right back. It's just getting started. Ocean Schmotion. There's a race going on, folks, and there's a lot of changes here at the racetrack. Stephen, you know more about that than the rest of us. What's up?
Well, it's not the same place it used to be. In fact, It's a lot better. The owners of Myrtle Beach Speedway decided they wanted to widen pit road, give the cars more room to get in and out, give the crews more room to work, so this entire stretch of fresh concrete is brand new. Now, that's not the only new thing they did. If you take a look over on the inside wall, the retaining wall in turn 1, all of this fresh concrete is brand new as well. Now, drivers at Myrtle Beach used to actually try to cut the corner going into 1 and slide up under one of their competitors. Well, the track owner said, enough of that, we're going to build a new wall. There it is. You don't see them trying it now.
Yeah, I saw guys in practice. They had to get used to that. They were trying to cut the corner, getting into 1, and you can see some guys actually had to kind of turn back to the right because they weren't quite sure where the wall was.
Clayton Rogers gets ready to take him back to the green flag with John Wood right behind him and Stacy Puryear in 3rd spot. So with 8 laps in the books now, we get going again. Clayton Rogers, John Wood, Stacy Puryear, Johnny Rumley, and the track champion Jason Sarvis make up the top 5. And a little bit further back, Mike Laughlin Jr. in the number 7 car. He was here practicing and actually testing for 5 days at Myrtle Beach Speedway the week prior to the race. And, you know, probably would have been the pole sitter by his own estimation if he had gone late in the qualifying. It takes a while to get some of the sand that blows in off the ocean off this racetrack, so the early guys tend to be a little bit of a disadvantage. It's always that way in racing, you know that, Bill. But specifically here at Myrtle Beach, Mike says, you know, if we'd have gone late, we'd have owned this place for qualifying. He went way early in the run and, you know, just didn't have that fast a lap, qualified 5th.
Yeah, the only other track I know that's like that is Daytona International Speedway, which has the same problem that when you first get out there in the morning, you got some sand laying on the racetrack. But the other thing that these guys, we were talking about the new track configuration, is, you know, like right now we're seeing they're going into 1, but you see right down in there they've got little speed bumps down there now, which they didn't have before. They extended the wall, but they put these little speed bumps, and everyone's used to kind of getting down on that apron, and now they can't. So it's made everyone change their whole line on how they race this racetrack.
Well, Mike Laughlin Jr. just took a spot back from the number 50, Jason Sarvis. And now he's looking down inside on Johnny Rumley. You can look in on all the results, stories about your drivers, anything you would ever want to know about the Hooters Series at the address on your screen, www.usarprocup.com. You won't see all this great action, but you'll get the full story anyway.
Yeah, you know, they keep showing all of these little trick camera views, and you kind of start to see what some of these guys are doing to their race cars. You see that back window on that car was really bouncing in and out. That kind of helps some downforce, so to speak. A track like this, it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really make a big difference, but, you know, they say if you can get downforce, you can get through the corners a little better.
Now, I seem to remember you pointing that out about Derek Kelly's car a few races back, and guess who came to him and said, stiffen up that rear window?
Yeah, well,
the USAR officials.
Well, I guess they're going to have to mention it to someone else after this race.
You may be a race car driver, Bill Venturini, but you're not the race car driver's best friend, pointing out stuff like that. There's Charlie Ford, the veteran, and Jay Fogelman on the outside. New dad, well, he's starting to get some sleep now, and it shows.
Oh, I saw his kids. Are they neat?
Oh, yeah. They are the best. The twins, born a couple of months ago now. Charlie Ford, a little bit better line down on the low side.
You see Jay Fogelman, after a Speedway, he was pretty disappointed in on how the car worked and everything. He says, you know, I got to go home and do my homework. They went home between the last 2 weeks. They put a front clip, a rear clip, and a new body on this car. The only thing new was the center roll cage.
And he said the biggest thing that it changed, it helped, was weight. All the new components that they put on were a lot lighter than the old ones, especially the body without some inner panels and stuff. He said they were able to put several hundred pounds of lead in the car and put it where they want it.
Now there you're giving away tricks.
Rookie Brian Vickers inside on Fogelman says Bill Clemens has been helping him.
Oh, Bill Clemens, he's helped me out a lot this year. He really talks to me. For some odd reason, I guess he has a lot of confidence in me. But he's a really experienced driver. He's got a lot of knowledge up here, and I'm trying to tap all that I can. And he helps us out a lot. He talks to me about the groove, about how to race his guys, everything. Anything I have a question with, he answers it for me, and he does a good job of it.
There's Bill Clemens behind the wheel of his Hooters car. On the dash, James Mays, a young man at the Eggleston Hospital that he supports who passed away just recently. And Bill is racing tonight with James Mays in the cockpit with him. And Bill Clemens and Brian Vickers, I tried to be a little fly on the wall, stood just off to the side while Bill was telling Brian about a lot of things. And I mean, Bill went on for 10 minutes, and I said, how in the world can this young rookie driver remember all that stuff? Well, he must have remembered something. He finished 4th last week. Clayton Rogers still leads this one by almost 2 seconds over John Wood, Mike Laughlin Jr. and the rest. You can see the tight group that those three are in, and a little bit of track out there in front with Clayton Rogers.
You see the front end of Derek Kelly's car, how it's all missing already? That happened in the qualifying race because they had so many cars here tonight. They actually ran a qualifying race, and Derek Kelly got caught up in a wreck in that. The reason he made the show was because he was a past rookie champion. He took that provisional, but you can see his car was heavily damaged in that wreck.
Yeah, I was standing up on the roof of the hauler with Harold Hopper and the guys, and they were so bummed before that race even started. Hopeful, yes, that they could get up there and get one of those top 4 spots and get into the race, but they were just so disappointed at how bad the car was in spite of their best efforts over the last couple of weeks to put it together. And then when Derek Kelly got caught up in a wreck in that qualifying race, you know, they were just decimated. They were just ready to just pack up and go home, but they couldn't. They were inside the racetrack. Then they got a provisional and their spirits went right through the roof again. They went back to work. Stacy Puryear and John Wood. Now Puryear making a move on Wood. Laughlin has run off and kind of scampered away from that entire group after passing them one at a time. And Mike Laughlin Jr. has had a fast race car all day here today. He was fast in practice. That's because he'd been here for a while and really had the setup dialed in on his brand new Laughlin Racing Products car. And down into the pit goes Randy Gentry in that Georgia boot machine. Unscheduled stop. You know, you coming out now.
You made a comment, you know, that Derek Kelly was left. So we've got a caution right now.
Yeah. Caution on the track, and it's Chris Diamond in the 99.
Oh, man.
Golden Sands Hotel Lake Electric car. Chris Diamond had 2 very good runs in the 3 races this season, winning the W.J. Clemens Investment Hard Charger Award twice. But having his problems here tonight with a provisional start, and now a caution for Chris Diamond. We'll be back.
We'll be right back with more of the Mark Brooks Memorial Hooters 250.
Presented by Black's Tire Service.
The sun sets over the other ocean, but it sure casts a beautiful light here on Myrtle Beach Speedway. Jay Fogelman in the pits a little early. What's up, Steven?
Well, a spark plug wire has come off the engine of Jay Fogelman, so they've already lost track position fixing the spark plug wire. They said, hey guys, we might as well top it off with fuel and go back to 24 pounds in the rear tires the way they wanted to start the race. They made a small adjustment after qualifications. Jay got out and said, guys, I don't like this. We're already at the back of the pack. Let's bring it in and fix it.
Why not? You might have a chance at $500,000 like these guys who almost did it a year ago. Mario Gosselin won the opener. Derek Kelly won the 2nd and 4th races of the year. And Toby Porter picked up a win in the Dan Duncan Memorial, the 3rd of the 4 Champions Challenge events. But nobody cleaned the slate and nobody picked up the $500,000, although Derek Kelly did get a $25,000 bonus.
You got to remember, everyone here tonight still has a shot at that $500,000 bonus.
That's exactly right, and everyone's got a shot at the pole sitter Clayton Rogers, who has led from the drop of the green flag. Mike Laughlin Jr. is up from his 5th place starting position, dropped back to 6th, now is 2nd. So he's a guy on the move out there tonight. He's only got one more spot to get the one he wants.
Did you see Jason Sarvis again on the restart? He was tucked underneath, not alongside, underneath the bumper of John Wood.
John Wood puts a little bit of distance in between him and that number 50 car of Sarvis. And some action deeper in the field, kind of revolving around Charlie Ford and his number 14 Sun Graphics orange machine. Single file around the racetrack for the most part. A little bit of side-by-side racing going on as we take a look at the number 36 of Sean Studer, the Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink entry. Nice sponsorship. Very nice young man, a talented driver and a fun crew.
From my hometown of Concord, North Carolina.
Sean Studer making his debut appearance in the Hooters Pro Cup Series here in the year 2000 is our driver feature. He recalls his first race. It changed his life.
when I was 11 years old in 1989, and I went to the Daytona 500. And when my father and I went there for that race, it just took my breath, and I told him on the way back home, I said, I think this is something we need to do. And he's like, well, if you're really seriously thinking about wanting to do this, we'll do it together, and we'll go from there.
Success came early. In only his second season, Sean won most of the races he ran and the track championship.
Every time I go to the racetrack now, I go to have fun, but I have a tunnel vision. It's just a lot of the guys on the team are like, you kind of switch, worlds when you get to the racetrack. You kind of get a little testier, with your attitude and all this and that. It's like whenever you're running fast, you kind of get your own sort of feeling inside. It makes you feel really good, and makes you feel confident, like you just hit a sweet spot on a baseball. It's just like, man, we're there.
Sean gives all the credit to his father, who has been a strong influence and very supportive in his racing career.
He's making a career for me. And what I do in return is I work as hard as I can, together as a family to make this a family effort, and this is what he and I want to do together. He wants to own, and he wants me to drive, and someday he's going to hopefully turn the reins over to me and say, I'm done, I can't, I'm worn out, you take it over. So.
Studer's success continues this year, running as one of the top 5 rookies in this competitive and prestigious short track series.
I'm going to go to these races, and I'm going to worry about my race car and try to do the best I can to get these, this brand up front and get them as much TV time, do the best job I can, be patient, stay clear of things, keep our nose clean, and be there at the end of the race when it counts. This is something I want to do with the rest of my life, and it's hard, and I'm paying my dues, and I'm going to make it someday. It's just something I believe in my heart, no matter what anybody throws at me.
Sean Studer doing a pretty good job this year with a top 5 finish and running at the end of all 3 races that have been held so far. On board with Bill Clements in the Hooters number 15.
Boy, looking from this shot, you can see what they've done to make these cars lighter so that they can put more lead down on the low side of the car in the frame rails. You see along his right leg brace, you see the brace got holes drilled in it. The shifter ball on the shifter handle is made out of aluminum. The gauges in the dash, normally the gauges are like 2.5 inches. Those are like 1 3/4 gauges to make sure that they're smaller, they're lighter weight. And what that does is let you just put more lead down on the frame rails.
Bill Clements looking awful relaxed behind the wheel of his Hooters entry. Coming up behind the number 30 of Martin Nesbitt there, State Fair brand Corn Dogs car. And a veteran driver like Bill Clements, who has had a terrific season so far, just knows that you don't win these races at the beginning. Not disappointed or even affected a little bit by his qualifying or anything like that. He says, they don't hand out trophies for qualifying.
Yeah, I was looking over Bill Clements and Mike Laughlin Jr.'s cars. Dale Burns, Bill's crew chief, sitting talking to him right after qualifying before the feature started, and those are some really nice race cars. They've done their homework. They read the rule books. They knew what was within the rules, and they built a really nice race car.
A lot of new cars showed up at the track this weekend. Bill Clements, with some modifications and changes. We talked about Derek Kelly with a brand new car, Mike Laughlin Jr. with a brand new car. There were a number of guys that showed up that had been working on cars and brought them out from Myrtle Beach.
Well, here's the reason why. There were 36 cars made the show by qualifying times. Actually, there was 38 cars by speed. The difference between the pole and the 38th place car was less than 0.8 of a second.
Whoa, yeah. Mike Laughlin Jr. just jetting by Clayton Rogers. Looked like he tapped the wall up there, and here he goes around. Something happened to Clayton Rogers, and then something really bad happened to him.
Yeah, it looked like something might have broke. Oh, look, Bill Clements.
Oh, Clements.
Man, is he at the wall?
That could be what it is right there. Maybe Rogers got into some fluid or whatever, because Bill Clements is really putting out some fluid on the track right now. Let's take another look at this. Here he comes. He's checking up, sees something, feels something. Right by goes Laughlin on the low line, and then here's where Clayton Rogers goes for a ride. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see Clayton Rogers' car just broke loose, but
I mean, you know, it looked like he cut a tire, but all the tires have air in them. He must have got into something on the racetrack. Let's take a look. There's Marty Lindley sliding and skating around. Plemons is up in the wall.
Jeremy Bowser was on the inside of him. Let's see if, no.
Man, he has really got a problem there. He got up into the wall and is definitely losing vital engine fluid of some kind there. Oh, there's the shot. Let's listen in.
Bill, your car's on fire. You need to get out. Got a right front tire. I believe it's the rotors caught the tire on fire.
Well, that's exactly what it is. We can see it from our vantage point up here. Fire in the hole on the right front.
You notice Bill Plemons wasn't really too concerned about it.
Nope. Now he's just going to go over and have a casual look. We'll be back.
Welcome back to the Myrtle Beach Speedway.
With more of the Mark Brooks Memorial Hooters 250.
Thank you once again, girls. Some fans with a good vantage point. Hi there. How you doing?
They look comfy.
What's up? Nice night, huh? Stephen Cox down on pit road with the leader Clayton Rogers in the Fire Protection Services car. Stephen?
Your Discount Auto Parts pole sitter into the pits after getting involved in that altercation. Now the first order of business is to try to free up that left rear tire that has the bodywork down on it. Otherwise, on the rear of the car, they're pounding as hard as they possibly can, as quick as they can, and out comes the duct tape that every racing crew needs to have their hands on. Clayton Rogers losing a lot of track position.
That's something you don't want to see as your pit crew come over the wall with big hammers.
No. Take a look at the way they line up right now with Mike Laughlin Jr. has made it to the front position there. Probably feels like he should have been there all along as fast as his car has been here today. And now on the restart, look, there is some evidence of just how fast Mike Laughlin Jr. is. He stood on the gas with that great big foot, and off he goes.
I want to know what these guys do on these restarts. It's like the leader gets shot out of a cannon.
Stacy Puryear running behind him. Bobby Gill has very quietly moved up. Whoa. And another spin on the racetrack in traffic. And this one has collected 3 cars. Mike Herman Jr., Sean Studer in the Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink car, and we're not sure who's in the sandwich there.
That's Mario.
It's Mario Gosselin. Gosselin in the 16 car was so far back in the field, you know, it's inevitable. You're going to run into some problems that deep.
Look at this car. It is damaged front and back. It definitely needs a rear clip. You can see it. The back fuel cell brace is dragging on the ground right now. Let's see if we can see
the car refired. Here's another look at it. And around goes, well, he saved it.
No, you can see Sean was already spinning.
Yeah, but the one car got sideways and then saved it. There may still be something on the track up in that part. Hard to tell.
Look at Mario. First he ran into Sean Studer, and then he got hit by Mike Herman.
Look from on board with Keith Woody. I don't blame Woody sitting on the dash. I wouldn't want to be looking the other way either.
Yeah, and he's hanging on. I can see that.
Oh, man.
Whoa.
There we go. That was a tap into the back of Mario Gosselin's Carter Grandel car, and then here comes
Mike Herman.
Mike Herman slamming into the side.
That was more than a tap. That was a lot of help.
Sean Studer taking the Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink number 36 down. He's not heading to victory lane, although it's kind of in the same general area. That is bad damage. Let's go down to Stephen Cox for more on the melee.
Well, Curtis Davis caught up in a contusion out there as well. A number of problems out there, and guys, you have to wonder how much fluid was put on the racetrack when Plemons went out a few minutes ago. This is 3 or 4 accidents we've seen since that time.
Yeah, you made that comment, Brian. You know, that something must still be on the racetrack.
I'm just guessing, Bill. I count on you for an educated guess. But in any case, we've got a lot of damaged cars, mainly that of Sean Studer. Trying to get back to my seat here at Myrtle Beach. Excuse me, girls. Excuse me. Steven, can you take over for me, buddy?
Well, not only are we fixing battle damage on the 16 car of Mario Gosselin, but hey, we might as well refuel and also put fresh tires on while we're out there. Fresh rear rubber this time around for Mario, and he goes back out. Guys, he did not lose a lap.
Yeah, I don't know how much gas they got in that car because that filler neck was really crushed in the left rear quarter panel.
Yeah, Gosselin had worked his way up to 18th, most recently passing Mike Herman Jr. Steven, you got more?
Well, Mario came in for rear tires all right, but he only got one of them. The left rear was changed, the right rear wasn't. The dust cap couldn't come off. They couldn't get the dust cover off until they couldn't remove the right rear wheel. So the right rear wheel sits here, Mario goes back out.
What happened was in that wreck, that dust cap got crunched over the wheel and they couldn't get the wheel off.
Well, they're going to have to try to work some way of doing that as we go back to the green flag with Mike Laughlin Jr. We're going to be watching that part of the racetrack very closely now. We've seen some lost traction as we look at our full field rundown here, brought to you by Sunoco Race Fuels. Charlie Ford in 6th position there. Brian Vickers 8th. Stephen Christian rounding out the top 10. Dexter Knight from 22nd up to 14th in the Cars Plus car. Andy Thurman from way back in the field up to 15th right behind him. Take a look at Buggy Pletcher. These are guys that started way in the back. We knew they had better cars than what they showed in qualifying, like Jay Fogelman, Don Satterfield. These are fellows who were dead last on the last couple rows. They're getting towards the front now. Toby Robertson there.
Toby Robertson, that's the son of T. Wayne Robertson, the R.J. Reynolds rep that passed away in an accident a couple years ago.
And Clayton Rogers, the former leader of this race, all the way back in 32nd spot after having to stop. He stopped twice actually and lost a lap. So the green flag racing continues here at Myrtle Beach Speedway as everybody's trying to sort out their positions after a bit of a fracas. That gives us a chance for this week's Tech Tip with Stephen Cox and Stephen Christian.
You get to poking around race cars long enough and looking close enough, you find small differences in them. Now, one that I found was that Steve Christian's car has 2 ignition boxes. Well, a bunch of others only have 1 ignition box, so I just asked him myself, why?
Why 2? One is a backup to the primary system. We have 2 completely separate systems. Every piece is duplicated. Reason being, if we have a problem and one quits working, we don't have to stop, come into the pits under green probably, change a piece out, then go back out and lose 4 or 5 laps. We can be going down the front stretch to pick up a miss, something in the ignition go bad, flip a switch, and have a completely separate system ready to go just like that.
Have you ever had to use it?
Actually, we did last year. We had a case where the car, we would go down the straightaway, and right at the top end of the straightaway, it would just hesitate and it would miss and would quit pulling. The engine would just quit running. And we flipped that switch, carried it right up. We came back and we found a bad coil.
That's got to be a good feeling. Wow, something worked.
It is. You think, gosh, we put this money in here, we're going to use this thing. And you know, that happens from time to time. Over the years, there's only been a couple times I've had to use those, and we've had them in the cars all the time. But it's the time you take it out that you probably would need it. So you just can't take that chance running for a points championship. You've got to finish every lap.
You know, Brian, losing an ignition system isn't uncommon in racing. A lot of people ask me why. Well, first of all, the vibration that a race car goes through, in one race, along with the heat inside that cockpit sometimes gets to be over 200 degrees, and the circuitry in those ignition boxes just can't handle it.
Black flag being shown to Mario Gosselin. We should mention that there are a couple of ignition systems used here in the Hooters Pro Cup Series, MSD and Holley being the most prominent ones. You know, Bobby Gill's got 2 ignition systems, and here comes Mario Gosselin in for the black flag. The crew was not able to get the bodywork ripped off there while they kept him on the lead lap during his stops.
Yeah, you notice he didn't come in right away because the rule states that you can take, give you a black flag for 3 laps before they pull your scorecard. So he was trying to hope that maybe there was a yellow and then he could come in and get it torn off without losing a lap.
One of the last guys that Gosselin passed was Mike Herman Jr., also caught up in the crash. He's with Steven.
Mike Herman, what took you out of the race tonight?
They got crashed up in front of us up there, and when I crawled down on the brakes to try to get woed up, it was tough on the racetrack. It just slid into the wreck. It was unfortunate we were victim of track position tonight, but you know, for the past couple of weeks, the way our year is going, today's fireplace CTR car was running good, so we'll be back to the next one, and it's just unfortunate.
And Gosselin had been working on Shane Huffman for probably 10 or 15 laps. I mean, on Mike Herman Jr. And Shane Huffman actually for a while to try to pass those guys. And Mike Herman Jr. was giving Gosselin fits. Those 2 guys had very closely matched race cars, as does Mike Laughlin Jr. and Bobby Gill right now, who's just worked his way right up there to 2nd position.
You know, we're watching these races, and my wife, every time she sees a race, she comes to me, she says, man, watching Bobby Gill, you can just tell he's a veteran. You can see, oh man.
82 car up in the wall there of Mark King, the Busch Motorsports entry, cutting a tire down. And sparks are coming off the right front, the rim on the track. That sandpaper surface here maybe is
you could see it.
Yeah,
you can see it.
Taking its toll on some of these tires. They were concerned about a lot of tire wear. The one that wears in the weirdest way is the left front. Let's take another look here. Whoa, get out of the way!
Hey, he's getting a little help there, by Jason Sarvis.
A couple of young fans there clinging to the fence for a good view. They got more than their money's worth with Mark King coming by. But I started to say that it was funny to look at the left front tires on some of these cars after just a few laps. It just pulls the rubber right off one side.
It's called graining is what it does. It actually, the left front wheel is being dragged across the racetrack.
Well, the Busch Motorsports car is in the pits. Mark King trying to get back in the race. Keith Woody taking the 83 car, the Sandvik Corman Company entry down to pit road. A lot of activity down there, but Stephen Cox has also caught up with young Sean Studer, who's out of the race. Stephen?
Sean, tell me what happened. You really got banged around out there. First of all, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just disappointing to have this happen to us. The Yoo-Hoo Chevrolet Monte Carlo Scotsman convenience stores we were hanging in there. The car was getting a little bit too loose there for our liking, and we were just going to try and ride it out and hang out. Hopefully catch, caution late in the race, come in, make an adjustment, see if we can't do any better, later on in the race. I don't know, there was a lot of speedy dry out there, and I just sailed it off down into the corner in turn 3, and next thing I know, I just drive it in there just as hard as I normally had, and it swapped ends on me, and it just was stunned. I just didn't know what else to think. I was just like, okay, I don't know if I got hit or what from behind. I just drove it down in there like I had been driving, and just swapped ends on me, and here I sit, So I really hate it for these guys. They did an awful good job today, and the Yoo-Hoo, all their support. We're just gonna have to regroup and come back at them again and go from there.
Bill, I'm sure we're going to see more of Sean Studer and his family and that team here in the Hooters Series. Don Satterfield being held on pit road by the USAR official for passing the pace car on his way in, apparently, and that's a no-no.
Trying to make up that extra lap.
Yeah, well, he has been trying awful hard to make up a lap he lost early on. Let's go down to Stephen Cox with more on the 83 car.
Well, Keith Woody still works on some right side body damage. The front right there got punched in pretty good, guys. Another rookie in a field just chock full of rookies, where 4 of them made up the first 2 rows. Keith Woody, Clayton Rogers, 2 of the rookie casualties early on.
Look at the young rookie styling with the neat helmet and the glasses.
And the 00 car of Curtis Davis also having some problems down there out of Blacksburg, South Carolina.
You can see he's overheating, but I don't know if the radiator's got a hole in it or not, but the whole front of the grill was closed up.
Mike Laughlin Jr. stands on the gas again with Bobby Gill staying closer to him this time.
Yeah, the key was, look who's running second, Bobby Gill. You notice Mike Laughlin didn't get the jump that these guys have been getting.
Stacy Puryear running 3rd. Stephen Christian is up to 4th. Down on the inside, it's the lap car of Mark King, trying but unsuccessful at staying on the trying to get his lap back. He's alongside and inside on Bobby Gill as Mike Laughlin Jr. shows the way in the Valinite Tool. Muzzy Broadhead's True Ball, a brand new automobile here tonight. King doing a good job down on the low line, sending some sparks flying.
Well, he had a little problem before. Look at the whole right side of the car, but it's not affecting the way it's handling right now.
He's dragging a little sheet metal down there just in front of the right rear tire, but that's all.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like it's getting worse.
Yeah, that car's really leaning over on the right side right now.
Maybe has some suspension damage under there, or maybe it's cutting on that tire a little bit. Hard to say. Mark King doing the best he can. Bobby Gill says, I'm out of here. And there is the blackstire.com of Stacy Puryear.
I'm looking at that. That's his exhaust pipe on the right side that's dragging.
They are a presenting sponsor of this event, and they hosted, I would call it, the first event here today. It was a good one.
What we're doing here, we kind of having a get together for all of our customers, and then also we've been very fortunate to have some co-sponsors helping us with the tent, and which we got Horry County National Bank, and also Johnsonville Farms, and then coming here and having a chance with the Hooters Pro Cup, and hopefully we can have a good thing happening here. And we're going to bring about 1,500 people, and hopefully put on a good show. My driver, Stacy Furrier, he qualified 4th, and hey, we're rookies, but we're trying real hard.
Looks like we've had a real good crowd. Yeah, looks like we've had a real good turnout. We had a lot of food on standby to use, and we about used it all up. Everybody likes a free meal too, so that helps get them out too. I think if they didn't get full, it was their own fault.
You know, I was in the infield earlier today when they had that, and I was smelling something cooking outside, and we kind of moseyed on out there, and there was definitely a lot of food out there.
Hey, I saw our producer Eric and
yeah,
Tim and David and those guys heading that way, and I think that's all they got was a sniff too. But look at this, what a mess on the racetrack right now. Marty Ward involved, and he had been working his way up towards the front. Also involved there was the 50 car of Sarvis.
And Jeremy Bowser.
And Bowser, there's Sarvis, he's not moving, the others are. We'll be right back. Jay Fogelman takes the high-tech fabrication Hillcrest entry down onto pit road for some attention here. Looks pretty routine as the crew is going to work on the race car there. A veteran driver, Fogelman. Things looking pretty calm down there. Also in the pit is the number 30 car, Mark Nesbitt, and Stephen Cox is there.
The 30 car, Mark Nesbitt, into the pits. Mark Nesbitt Sr., the crew chief for this team, looked up at me and said, we'll just have to see, guys. We don't even know what the problem is. It's obviously some body damage, but problems beyond that, though, because you can see sparks very clearly shooting out from underneath the left front wheel. So Mark Nesbitt sits in the pits. He has not gone down a lap yet, but the field is coming around.
Bill, these cars look so good when they come to the racetrack, but neatness does not count at a point like this. Whoa!
Whoa!
Oh, that is Curtis Davis 00 car. One of the crew guys there pulling the radiator cap off. Just about, that looked like Old Faithful taking off on it there.
Not too safe of a move on that part.
I'm sure he felt that as the cap came off and went about 20 feet in the air. Now they're cooling it off, pouring some fluid in there. You can see, yep, hot steamy water in addition to the hot night out here tonight. There it goes. Yeah.
That had to burn.
That was definitely not the way you want to take a shower on a hot spring night. Also getting some attention down there, the man who started 3rd in this race, Jason Sarvis.
Jason Sarvis had a fantastic run going here. It didn't look like you were really pressing the car that hard to start with. How did it feel?
We had a really good car tonight. DeLindenAmon.com Chevrolet was, I don't really know what to say. We was trying, I know how the track is, it'll wear tires out. And we were just riding, trying to stay in the top 5. And the outside groove started working good, but I got caught up on a lap car and kind of lost some positions there. And it just seemed like every time we try to make a move, something would happen and we just couldn't, things weren't working to our advantage. But we had a really good car. Was looking forward to a pit stop and getting some wedge in it and some tires, but we didn't make it.
Are you going to go back out and run some laps?
No, we're not in this deal for points. We're just trying to take it race by race, looking for a sponsor for the hood, a primary sponsor. And like I say, I'd just like to thank Lyndon and and the rest of the guys. They're doing this for me, just no money deal, just trying to help me get an opportunity, and we appreciate it.
Well, the young man certainly made an impression on the Hooters Pro Cup drivers as we take a look at the Discount Auto Parts leaderboard and the faces of those leaders: Mike Laughlin Jr., Bobby Gill, Stacy Purrier, Stephen Christian, and Marty Lind. That's a good-looking bunch.
Yeah, did you see Marty Lind? He's been hanging around the top 5 all night so far.
Sure has, in that Hallelujah Ford. Mike Laughlin Jr. stands on the gas. Bobby Gill goes with him. Mario Gosselin dives up off the low line into the high side and is third on the racetrack, but down a lap. Sunoco full field rundown. And there they are, Marty Lindley in 5th spot. Charlie Ford also very consistent this year. Brian Vickers, tip of the hat to him. Young man in the 42 cars there. Keith Woody, Regan Smith, Kevin Barrett, John Wood, lots of rookies, but not in the lead.
Yeah, you see, since they dropped the green flag, number 37, Randy Gentry in the Georgia Boots car, was able to get his lap back. So, you know, he's on the, looks like he's leading the race, but he's still on the tail end of the lead lap right now.
Mario Gosselin trying to do the same, and he's got a very fast race car. Look at the way he slid inside on Bobby Gill and jets away. Here comes Don Satterfield also trying to get a lap back. But Gosselin, after coming in on that black flag penalty to have the bodywork fixed, dropped all the way back just inside the top 30. He's up to 28th at this point. As we continue to look at our Sunoco full field rundown.
Steve Christian is working the inside of Purrier right now. I thought for sure they're going to be a little contact there.
Steve Christian very patient out there tonight, riding the race of a veteran, even though he is the defending or recent rookie champion. Steve Christian now very much viewed as a veteran driver in this series after taking that title, rookie title last year in the Lucas Oil Products Chevrolet. Christian low, Purrier high.
Keeps looking on the inside, and Mario's got his lap
back.
back.
Leader, he's got his lap back.
Mike Laughlin gets his lap back.
And Jeff Agnew around on the racetrack. Cars were slowing down, and that could have contributed to Gosselin. He stood on the gas. Laughlin eased up on it.
Toby Robertson was stuck down on the inside. This is a perfect break for Mario Gosselin. He just got his lap back. Bam, a yellow comes out. He's able to go all the way around.
Jeff Agnew in the Twin City Motor Exchange number 73, champion of the series 2 years ago. We're on board now with Buggy Pletcher, the Big Daddy's barbecue sauce car, and
well, you can see that Toby Robertson's already spun to the inside. You couldn't see if he got hit or not from that angle, but
Stephen Christian down on pit road. Also John Wood down there. And Stephen, what's up?
Well, John Wood is visibly and noticeably slower than he was early in the race. They started way up front in this show and have been unable to hang on to it. So they untaped the front end and they're going to put fresh rubber all the way around. The car is very loose. Now they've decided to try to tighten John up, not with stagger, but with a track bar adjustment. John should be able to get this 116 GoRacing.com car back out and do very well with it if they can get the handling right.
John Wood heading back out onto the racetrack, and once again the Curtis Davis car number 00 is
look at the official.
Giving our USAR official a shower. Everybody's going to the bath tonight. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And introducing the newest dressing from Naturally Fresh, Bacon Honey Mustard. Eat and serve for a great taste. We're racing here in Myrtle Beach Speedway. Green flew just a moment ago. Mike Laughlin Jr., Bobby Gill, and Stacy Purrier, the top three. Charlie Ford running 5th in the top 5 for the first time here tonight. And there's Purrier in the Black's Tire Services car.
Let's listen to the throttle, see how he comes off the corner, if he's slipping the tires at all. I didn't hear him play with the throttle, but did you notice that he didn't come off as fast as the guy was behind him? Right there, right in the center of the corner, you can see that the number 82, Mark King, is able to almost pick up the throttle a little quicker and almost get underneath it coming off the corner.
Mike Laughlin Jr. on his way to the halfway award here, the Lucas Oil Products halfway award. One to go for that prize as we watch Charlie Ford, the Sun Graphics number 14. Charlie's kept that race car clean, squeaky clean out here tonight, as has Mike Laughlin Jr. A couple of good-looking cars out there. Gill's car pretty much undamaged, and that's what you would expect out of the veteran drivers as Mike Laughlin Jr. collects the Lucas Oil Products Halfway Leader Award. He has led for a total of 80 laps, took the lead from Clayton Rogers, and has held it ever since.
See right now, Charlie Ford's running what, in 5th right now? I mean, this guy's had a pretty decent year. He's in 4th and 2 14s. He's definitely stepped up his program for this year.
Now Bobby Gill closing up to the back end of Mike Laughlin Jr.'s Valinite tool car. That Ford Taurus that they built brand new and tested for 5 days here at Myrtle Beach Speedway over the previous weekend.
Look at Bobby Gill. He's working the outside line right now. You know, he keeps letting Mike Laughlin run down on the bottom, which actually, see, I just said it. He's looking at the outside line. Look, he's trying to put a move on it. See, because by making Mike run the inside line, he's actually heating his tires up. Boy, he went around him like it was easy.
Well, it seemed like Mike Laughlin Jr. said, okay, fine, let's see if we can get away if you lead. I took the halfway money. Go ahead. These laps aren't worth a darn.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they don't pay anything extra to lead from now. The next lap that pays the most leads, $250, baby.
Now these guys have not stopped. Bobby Gill, Mike Laughlin Jr., a number of the leaders have not yet stopped for tires. So they stayed out there, kept their track position. Bobby Gill, who started, of course, 10th, is now the leader. Mike Laughlin Jr. started 5th. Don Satterfield still trying to get his lap back.
You know, you made a comment, these guys haven't pitted yet, and they're on the tires that they started the race with. I'm surprised how well these cars are still working in the center of the corner. Because this racetrack has a tendency to, you know, like after 15, 20 laps, you're slipping and sliding like you're on ice skates. But right now, these two guys seem to be, look how smooth they are coming off the corner. They're not slipping, they're sliding or nothing.
Well, you always get, you know, I talked to a lot of the drivers about that because they were all, you know, jumping up and down about how abrasive the track is, how the tires, you know, wear out so quick or go off so quick. And that was really the consensus that I got anyway, was that they said, yeah, okay, you've got great tires for about 10 laps.
Yeah.
Then they fall off pretty hard, but they stay kind of okay. And he says your lap times are going to go away, but you can still drive the race car if you set it up that way.
Yeah,
and now Mike Laughlin Jr. says, all right, fine, we're not making any extra progress with you in front, Bobby, so I'll go back to the lead.
Well, and getting back to the tires, that's a tribute to Goodyear. You know, they've come up with this Hooters spec tire, and it really has worked really well for this program.
Mike Laughlin Jr. resumes the lead, and that gives us a chance to take a breath and recap the race for you if you're just joining us. Our Lucas Oil Products halfway recap. Going back to the very beginning of the race, pole sitter Clayton Rogers led for all of the early laps until something happened. He got out of the gas. Mike Laughlin Jr. went by him, and the next thing that happened was he just lost it going into the turn. We suspect, and it's sort of been confirmed, that there was something on the track, and Clayton just went around. On the very same lap, Bill Clements Jr., again, we suspect something on the racetrack. It caused a problem for Bill. He went into the wall and is out of the race. On lap number 53, probably the biggest accident of the entire contest, as Sean Studer swapped ends. Mario Gosselin got sandwiched in between him and the 34 of Mike Herman Jr. Things were somewhat uneventful to that point until Mike Laughlin Jr. went on to take the halfway prize from Lucas Oil. The racing continues here at Myrtle Beach. We're looking at Charlie Ford and Jerry Rector, another guy.
I was just going to say that. Look at this. Jerry Rector, who stepped it up tonight. Really running good, running in the top 10 right now.
The Reds Grill number 77. He's been very quietly moving towards the front here as we look at our Sunoco full field rundown. Marty Lindley up to 3rd. Charlie Ford and Jerry Rector starting the second 5. Kevin Barrett, a rookie contender who did well in the first couple races. He's right up in there again. Mario Gosselin got his lap back, came to the rear of the field, and has come right through to 11th place. Stephen Christian in 16th, and John Wood. These are guys that stopped in the last round. And Marty Ward, who's come up from the back of the field to run well. A couple of rookies, Brian Vickers and Regan Smith back in 21st and 2nd. And then the rest of the field, including Derek Kelly, who's continuing to fight that ill-handling car that he brought to the racetrack. But he's soldiering on as we watch Marty Lindley inside on Bobby Gill. This is for 2nd.
Yeah, Marty Lindley's all of a sudden coming on pretty strong right now. You know, you and me been kind of joking all year long about the rookie and the veteran little battle that's been going on all year. But I'll tell you what's happened. you have the best field of rookies that I've ever seen in the series. And what it's done is it's forced the veterans to step up their program. You know, you see Charlie Ford, Don Satterfield, Jerry Rector. All of a sudden, these guys have said, Bill Clemens Jr., we better get with the program or these kids are going to pass us by, and they're going to pass us by quick. So what's happened is the competition level in the whole series has stepped up. I don't want to say one step. I'd say probably it's taken 3 giant steps this year, and it's showing in the competition we have all year.
Well, and you would expect that rookie drivers coming in, with many of them with terrific sponsorship, backing, and teams like John Wood, for instance, the Wood brothers. Hey, say no more.
Yeah, and, you know,
these guys you would expect. Oh, we got a caution out on the racetrack. Leaders are slowing down, obviously, and up in the wall, the 82 of Mark King. Problems continuing for the driver of the Busch Motorsports entry out of Seymour, North Carolina. Napa filters on the hood.
Getting it back to what you were saying, Brian, is that these young rookies are bringing good sponsorship programs into the series now. You know, Sean Studer with the Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink sponsorship, and John Wood with the, what is it?
GoRacing.com.
Yeah, GoRacing.com. You know, they're starting to bring in big corporate sponsorship sponsors that are making the whole program just look better for everybody.
And I think that the evidence of good qualifying and filling up the field with a lot of these rookie drivers, the first thing that they're able to do is take their talent, the backing that they have, the good cars and equipment that they've been provided, and cut a couple of laps. What they're learning to do is get closer to victory lane. They haven't gotten there yet.
Not yet.
And you know what? I've taken the side of the rookie guys because I really admire what they're doing and what they're bringing to the show. But I think, like you, my heart falls with the veterans, the guys that have paid their dues.
Yeah, Martin Nesbitt was in opening hood, not a good sign. Here come all the leaders now. Now let's see what happens in pit stops.
Yep, here we go. Mike Laughlin Jr. in, Gill and everybody else, including Mario Gosselin, Clayton Rogers coming in.
Man, everybody.
Andy Thurman.
If they're on the lead lap, they're in.
It's a parade to pit road, and everybody's in it. Stephen Cox waiting patiently for him to come to him under the speed limit. And Stephen, it's all yours, buddy.
Well, Brian, Mike Laughlin told me before the race, he said he really liked to make adjustments at this particular racetrack using stagger, not so much the track bar or the wedge, but mainly with rear tire stagger. Now, the car is just a little bit loose, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to close up that stagger and tighten it up just a little bit. They also intend to make a small wedge adjustment, nothing big. Mike Laughlin with a really good race car, and remember, he did an awful lot of testing out here, and it's really paying off. And did you guys see when the 5 car went blowing past him? It didn't last long. Mike wanted that lead back, and he wanted it bad.
Oh, look at Mike Laughlin just hit a tire on pit road.
Stacy Purrier, who was pitted just in front of him, but it doesn't look as though anything serious is going to come of it there. Well, we can't see. It would have been on the right side of the car.
Didn't look like it did any damage. Let's see if we're on a replay if we can tell if it damaged his front end.
He comes off the jack, out of the pit, and boink. Nope, just bounce it right back.
Well, this would be a good shot right from here.
Stacy Purrier exits. Laughlin Jr. says, out of my way, tire.
Oh, look, the tire carrier didn't have to go back and get it. It's going right back over the wall.
Hey, thanks, Mike. So take a look as the lead has shuffled and changed with veteran Johnny Rumley, Jerry Rector up front, Powell, Barrett, and Woody rounding out the field. Here at Myrtle Beach Speedway, Bill, we try to tell these people if they're going to go to the fridge, they got to get back quicker because they miss some stuff. They miss some stuff. And here's the stuff you missed. An accident and a caution while we were gone. Take a look as Brian Vickers comes wheeling past the camera. Stacy Purrier heads for the infield. And behind them, the 87 car coming around too of Toby Robertson.
You notice something, Brian? That all 3 guys have spun on the front straightaway here. Nobody got hit.
Hey, pro drivers, do not try this at home. Here goes Stacy Purrier heading down towards the grass, and the least he could have done was drop the mower deck, you know, and giving it a fresh cut down there. Come on, Stacy, what are you doing? You're killing us here.
Look at it. You got the back window. You see everybody sliding behind him.
Well, all the crews are watching what went on out on the racetrack and waiting for this one to get going again. We caught up with Steve Dusneski, the Dews.
Steve, tell me what happened. You guys looked a little slow getting out of the pits.
No, we weren't a little slow. We were real slow, and I'm going to tell you what. Call 704-664-7015 if you can do it 4-tire stop in about 22 seconds. This is like the second week in a row, just pure disaster back there. I can't get all my good guys to the track all at once, so I mean, we're thankful for the help, but just having trouble getting them in the game when it really counts. So that's, I don't know, God knows how many spots we lost, so we got, Bobby's got to bail us out again.
Can he do it?
I don't know, the car's not exactly what we want, but it weren't exactly what we wanted last week, and we got to the front. Thank you.
All right,
I guess he
Wait
speaks
a minute, what was
his
that
mind.
number again?
So Brian,
Come on, Bill.
no, Brian,
No.
forget it, buddy. you belong up here with me.
Okay, all right. I have changed a few tires, but not well, I will admit. In the garage practice, yeah, I can do it.
I've even done it, but forget it now, buddy.
10 seconds in the shop practicing, half an hour out on the racetrack it takes me. We're back under green and looking at a whole new bunch of cars. Shane Huffman leading for the first time this season in the number 84 Johnsonville Bratwurst car. And he's jetting away from Jerry Rector like he knows how this is done. Shane Huffman, then Jerry Rector. Lap cars down on the inside, including the 37 of Randy Gentry, the Georgia boot car. There is the leader, Huffman, Jerry Rector.
Well, when they do the pit stops like this, the whole field gets, swapped around and gives everyone a chance to, showcase their cars running up front right now.
Well, Robert Powell in 134 in third spot, a guy who's not a registered rookie, but is making his first Hooters Pro Cup start here tonight. Knows a lot about this racetrack and has a lot of fans in the stands.
Yeah, you see the name on his hood? Melton's Chicken.
That's right. Number 134, Merritt Logging, Melton Chicken entry. Getting his feet wet in the very deep waters of the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series. Johnny Rumley in the Coors Light car running in fourth spot as we take a look at Buggy Pletcher.
With nowhere to go right now.
Yep, he's stuck behind the 83 there of Keith Woody, and he's in seventh spot. Keith Woody in that Sandvik Coromant Company yellow car that had a little bit of problem early in the race. He's recovered nicely. And there's Stephen Christian in the zero, Bobby Gill, Mike Laughlin Jr. Here comes the freight train.
Yeah, and look, here comes Bobby Gill and Mike Laughlin Jr.
Looks like a West Virginia coal train lined up around the racetrack as these guys are pushing and shoving their way to the front as a group. Shane Huffman is just trying to get gone. He knows they're coming. Also the 45 car there, Darrell Hayes, the Taylor Motorsports entry out of King, North Carolina. Not on the lead lap. Carlin Financial on that car as well. He's inside on Jerry Rector.
You also got to realize some guys that have come on and come in the pits and put on fresh tires, they're going to be fast. I mean, you can have a guy that had started in the back, and when he gets on those fresh tires, it's like it's like super Popeye eating spinach, man. You get that burst of strength. You figure you can beat anybody right now.
Well, one driver that did not stop was the 134 of Robert Powell. So he's out there on relatively older tires. He stopped earlier in the race. Here's Johnny Rumley, who also stayed out for track position, and a battle for fourth with Kevin Barrett. Another of the very talented rookie drivers. Hardly a rookie in terms of racing experience, but new to the Hooters Pro Cup Series. Barrett out of Cleveland, Georgia.
And I'm sure Johnny Rumley looked in his mirror and he saw that black car coming up, that PGT Bobby Gill.
And getting back to your point about fresh tires, eating spinach, and feeling like Superman, those guys have really gotten the job done on those fresh tires. They knew that, look, we can pass a lot of cars in a hurry on fresh tires, and they've done that. Now Robert Powell takes over the lead.
Yeah.
Darrell Hayes trying to get his lap back, and does.
And Jerry Rector's going for second right now.
Jerry Rector up into second position. So just like that, Shane Huffman going backwards, and a big spin out on the racetrack, smoke all over the place, and it collects the black tire services car number 92 of Stacy Purrier. John Wood caught up behind it.
Stacy Purrier's been involved in a couple of wrecks right now.
But his car still looks pretty good on this side.
I shouldn't say wrecks, I mean a couple spins, because every time he spins nobody hits him, so I mean it's not affected him
Martin
Let's see if we can see on the replay what happened.
Martin Nesbitt minus the hood behind him
Whoa.
there. Yeah. Whoa. Barrett into the side of Laughlin.
Laughlin did an excellent job of not wrecking right there.
And Barrett is pedaling for all he's worth and misses the inside wall. That is a veteran driver and a great save.
Did you see while the car was sliding, the wheels were locked up? The minute the car got going straight, bam, you take your foot off the brake pedal. Watch, he's sliding, he's sliding, he's sliding.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe he didn't hit the wall here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now is the
or backed into
anybody. Now right there, he lets go of the brake pedal and makes the car roll back forward.
And look at these guys diving inside and all over and around him. Puryear goes around, just missing Barrett, and that's why Puryear was backwards on the track for a while. Here it is from on board. Stacy Puryear.
You know, now we've seen Stacy spin twice, and it's only when he gets on his brake pedal real hard. Let's see. Yeah.
Buggy Pletcher, blind as a bat, somehow finds a hole and gets through unscathed. Whew! Well, we're going to catch our breaths here, and so we have ordered up a commercial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Mark Brooks Memorial Hooters 250 here at Myrtle Beach Speedway, presented by Black's Tire Service, the first of the 4 Champions Challenge races for the year 2000 here on the Hooters Pro Cup Series. And let's not forget, let's remember and remind you at home that $500,000, we are on the threshold of the possibility of a $500,000 prize here tonight. The winner of this race takes that first step.
Yeah, and I think those 2 cars, Mike Laughlin and Bobby Gill, are smelling the money. You know, before we went to break, I made a comment about Stacy Puryear spinning a couple times when he gets on the brake real hard.
Whoa.
And here Jay Fogelman spins. But what causes that, when you get on the brake pedal real hard and the car spins around, that means you have too much rear brake. Now, I know I've kind of picked on Stacy Little for his back window, but I think he's probably got a little too much rear brake in the car, and that's what's been happening.
Well, Stacy, if you or anyone you know is listening, Bill Venturini is the race car driver's friend and one of the best behind the wheel when he was doing that. Take a look at Jay Fogelman from on board, the flopping deck lid there of the Carter Grandel 16 of Gosselin. Around he goes.
Tell you something, Brian, that spoiler on Mario's car is doing nothing.
Creating downforce on itself, maybe. That's it. Take a look at the rest of the schedule on the 4 Champions Challenge. The Charlie Campbell Memorial at Montgomery on June 10th. The Dan Duncan Memorial at Greenville Pickens on September 23rd. And we finish up with the Alan Kulwicki Memorial at Lakeland to finish up the season. Those are the $25,000, $50,000, and $100,000 races respectively, and maybe a $500,000 at the end of the year. Take a look at the leaders right now. Robert Powell, Jerry Rector, and Bobby Gill. Powell, a first-timer, Rector and Gill, of course, veterans. And we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here behind the number 134 of Robert Powell. There's Jerry Rector, Mike Laughlin Jr., and Bobby Gill.
Yeah, Bobby Gill doesn't seem like he's going to be too patient right now.
Oh, and another spin on the racetrack. We can't get more than a lap or two
Mario
going.
Gosselin again.
Yep, Mario Gosselin, who had worked so hard to stay on the lead lap. His crew did. Then they brought him in, and he lost a lap. And here from on board. Oh,
definitely a little help there.
Yep, Clayton Rogers in the Fire Protection Services car, the pole sitter and early leader in this race, just got a little too deep in the corner on it.
But did you notice he didn't go a lap down?
Mario Gosselin still out there, and the fans are still in the seats. We're back at Myrtle Beach Speedway and still under caution, although that's not going to last long as the pace car leaves the racetrack. Our next race is on May 20th at Peach State Speedway, just north of Atlanta in Jefferson, Georgia. The old-timers call it Jeffco. Jefferson County Raceway as Robert Powell prepares to take him back to the green flag with Jerry Rector and Bobby Gill right behind him. Mike Laughlin Jr. backing off a little bit and giving him some room. Not sure what that's all about, but Powell takes him racing. Now Laughlin, now we know why. He only dove down on the low line there. through some of the lap cars. And now he's running up a little bit as we take a look at our Sunoco full field rundown. Marty Lindley starts the second 5 with Johnny Rumley and Dave Fletcher. Regan Smith in 11th spot. From the top rookies, Brian Vickers is right there with him. And Clayton Rogers 16th after leading early on and then getting caught up in an accident all by himself. Don Satterfield has not been able to get his lap back here tonight.
Boy, and he's sure been trying.
Yeah, he has been trying. I mean, give him an A for effort. Bobby Gill and Mike Laughlin Jr. There's Trent Owens, who just barely made the race in qualifying, and he's running inside the top 30, 27th spot. And there you can see the attrition that has taken its toll already tonight, beginning with Chris Diamond and with Bill Clements Jr., who went out in spectacular fashion. And around goes Robert Powell with Bobby Gill right behind him. Powell with a great save right in front of the flag man. But that was rather sudden and unexpected. As Robert Powell, the race leader, gets turned around by contact with Bobby Gill.
They came off the corner. Let's see if we can see in the replay what happens here.
Oh, Gill just stove right into the back of him.
Yeah, Bobby came off the corner and got a really good bite. You can see he made a move to go to the outside to go around him. And I think he just clipped his back bumper and spun him around.
Yep, he got off of it as quickly as he could and let Powell save it. And then he went scooting on by. Laughlin goes with him. You know, the one thing to remember here is that Laughlin and Gill are on much fresher tires than Powell, so you know they're running a different way around the racetrack a little bit, and Laughlin has been all over the back of Bobby Gill for the last half dozen
laps. As they
laps.
came off the corner, it almost looked like Laughlin and Bobby Gill were stuck together, you know, like all 3 cars were bumper to bumper.
Well, in any case, Robert Powell's going up to have a word with Bobby Gill, and Gill is just sort of driving away and maybe looking the other way, not sure. You know, there's no question that Gill got into the back of Powell. Did he mean to do it? Did he intend to do it? That's another question.
You know, this early in the race, I don't think nobody takes anyone out intentionally.
Well, and not only that, they're showing a black flag now for Bobby Gill, and the USAR officials are going to penalize him for what they consider to have been an intentional push. So Bobby Gill's going to have to report to the officials for a stop and go, and we're going to report for a commercial break. Bobby Gill reporting to pit road for a stop and go penalty. Stephen Cox, what do you got?
Well, the fight for the lead was absolutely vicious, and Bobby got just a little too anxious in it, and this is going to cost him severely in track time and track position. They made a very, very brief adjustment to the wedge, and Bobby goes back out.
They're going to hold him at the end of pit road.
Yeah, they're only holding him because the field's got to come by, because he's got to go to the back end
of the tail.
field.
Another look at it.
Well, yeah, he got into him pretty good here. But
but Laughlin's right there with him, and those two were all over each other.
I think, questionable call, Yeah, we've seen this happen before, though, this season. Where it seems like if you're leading, you got a little target on the back of your bumper that you say, help take me out.
The next 5 races on the schedule begin with the very next race at Peach State Speedway. Then we're back to Lakeland at USA International, Montgomery for the second round of the 4 Champions Challenge. And you saw the rest. Lonesome Pine, and on we go through the campaign for the year 2000. Mike Laughlin Jr. now inherits the lead that he wanted and looked like he was working for already.
I think Mike Laughlin Jr. right now is just breathing a whole lot easier.
Yep. Marty Lindley running in second spot, Jerry Rector third, so that's the top 3, and Mike Laughlin Jr. just jets away. We saw him do that a few times on restarts earlier when he was leading. And on board with Buggy Pletcher, that windshield's going to need a cleaning at the end of the night.
Look at Andy Thurman slip in front of him right there.
Yep, the naturally fresh Mountain Springwater car has been struggling a bit tonight. That was the winner of the very first race of the season, remember?
You notice we didn't talk about, you see the inside of the wall in 3 and 4? It's about a 3.5-foot high concrete wall on the inside of the racetrack. That wasn't there last year. So when you get into the corner now, we talked about the different configuration. that gives you a totally different sense of what this racetrack's like, because you can't see the corner when you get into it because that wall's right there. Plus, you can't cheat the corner again.
Bobby Gill now going behind the wall, and after his stop-and-go penalty, chassis adjustment, the motor, we understand from listening in on the radios, the motor let go. Something under the hood went south, and Bobby Gill is out of the race.
At first, I thought he was a little upset with the official call, but he does have a motor problem.
That was the first thing I thought, but he just parked it in protest. But no, that's not the case. And Mike Laughlin Jr. slowing down on the racetrack because the 45 car of Darrell Hayes has gone around.
He's definitely shorting the front nose of that car right now.
Well, he's at the most recent entry of a long list of damaged race cars out there. Stephen Cox has hustled over to the 5 car for a word with Bobby Gill. Stephen?
Bobby, you're out of this one early. You had a fantastic shot at it. What happened?
Well, the 84 car was pressuring him there on the corner. He either got loose or got off the gas something to run him, spun him out. You know, wasn't intentional. He slowed down. So they put me to the rear, and then something in the PGT Ford broke in the motor, lost a couple cylinders there.
Well, there it is. Confirmation and a very disappointed and dejected Bobby Gill, who had a very good shot at the half million. Area marketing manager Rachel Long there in the yellow shirt with the Hooters girls. Hi, girls. Wave, everybody. Yeah, they can see us. They can see you. What would a Hooters Pro Cup race be without the Hooters girls? As we get set to go back to the green flag, and Mike Laughlin Jr. stands on the gas so hard the tail end of the car comes out. And he straightens it back up. Marty Lindley stuck right with him there. Jerry Rector and the 27 of Johnny Rumley. Yeah, some great veteran drivers up front right now.
Last race at A Speedway, we saw Johnny, but he was in the stands. Now he's behind the wheel where he's much more comfortable.
And looking good behind the wheel of the Coors Light number 27, Johnny Rumley. There he is, going by.
That car was so pretty looking. I mean, my wife fell in love with the color of the paint job.
It is a good-looking car. His first race back since Lakeland. Johnny Rumley at the opener. Missed 2 races, and now he's back.
Did you see? Look how close they are. I was just coming up. Look at the wall. Look how close they get right in the center of the corner, because they're so used to cheating that corner, kind of coming in on the apron, that they almost have a tendency to forget that the wall's there.
Jerry Rector in the Reds Grill number 77. A very quiet and competent race for that veteran driver, and his best run of the season by far. Rector and Rumley. And we're looking at the whole field that is left. Attrition has been fairly significant here tonight. We had a lot of attrition before the race even started with guys that didn't make the race. 58 cars took qualifying laps. 17 of them didn't get to start.
Yeah, but you know, they increased the field size for this race. You've got 40 cars on this racetrack, and
whoa! And this time, without any further provocation, number 134.
They keep coming in. They keep coming in.
Man, Robert Powell goes around, and everybody wants to play. Now they're finding reverse.
2, 4, 6,
Mario
8,
Gosselin
10,
wiggles out of the
11,
pileup.
12, Don Sanford almost gets hit trying to get through it. Look at
Trent Owen slides through. Here's another look as Andy Thurman is down on the low line, goes for the corner with Robert Powell on the outside, and it was two guys looking for the same spot on the track.
Andy couldn't go any further down because the wall was there, and Robert Powell just came down and clipped him. Now Robert Powell's actually stopped, and nobody just gets touched a little. But look what's happening behind him. Look at this. They're stacking up all over.
This is like one of those accidents in the fog on the freeway here.
Yep.
Everybody just piles in, but Powell was almost, there was not a car width between him and the wall.
Look at that shot. You see that?
Oh, that was great. Stacy Puryear managed to get away from it all. Buggy Pletcher, whoa, look out. Nowhere to go.
Look, he keeps getting hit too. You see his car, it bounces 2 or 3 times.
They got every wrecker in Myrtle Beach out there trying to straighten this one out now. Let's go downstairs to Stephen Cox with Darrell Hayes.
Darrell, your car is beat to pieces. What on earth happened?
Well,
they started wrecking up in front of me and slowing down, and I had it missed, and the guy behind me, you know, he just didn't see what was going on in front of us. One of those chain reaction deals, and just we were unfortunate to get hit from behind, and it really tore the car up pretty bad. But you know, we got a lap down. The guys on the crew did a great job. My crew chief, Bird Nixon, made a great call to get 4 tires there on that stop, and we made our lap up, and I think we were coming back towards the front, and I really got to thank Taylor Motorsports for giving me this great opportunity to run in the USAR Pro Cup Series. This was really a great opportunity for me.
Well, we hope to see Darrell back. He was indeed doing a good job out here tonight. The fans in the stands still want to know who's going to win this one. The USAR officials had red flagged the race. We are getting ready to go again. Let's go downstairs for Tim Clayton.
Tim, you took a whale of a beating. First of all, tell me how you are.
Pretty sore right now, Stephen. That's the hardest I've hit anything. I don't really know what happened. I got under the bottom, was following the 92 car. We passed 3 or 4 cars there and was making some ground, and I don't really know what happened. Next thing I know, the 47 car was sitting crossways the racetrack, and I hit him right square in the door. I mean, I hope he's okay. I'm not sure what the deal is. I was out there for just a few minutes, but I think I'll be all right. Just real sore in my neck, a couple other little places, but I think it'll be okay. Thank you, Steve.
He made a comment. He was out there for a few minutes. He meant he was passed out, is what he means.
Tim Clayton, the driver of the Santa Fe Logistics Budweiser 07. And we go back to racing here behind Mike Laughlin Jr.
You know, after that last wreck, I'm looking at all these cars on the racetrack. There's only 2 cars, actually. Well, even Mike Laughlin has a tire mark on the inside of his door, but there's only 2 cars that aren't wrecked here. And that was Trent Owens and 27 of Johnny Rumley in the Coors Light car. There's the only 2 cars that still have straight sheet metal on right now.
Rumley's car still looks pretty good. A lot of cars look pretty good until you look at both sides.
Yeah, you got it. Now look at both sides.
Yeah.
See, like Regan Smith looked good on the passenger side. Look at.
Oh, here we go with Puryear and Regan Smith. Marty Ward. Wow, did he hit a ton? Backed it into the wall there.
Okay, Regan Smith is going to be mad at me because I just started to talk about him, and I think I must have jinxed him here.
Well, he looks like he's going to continue without any problems, but Marty Ward and Stacy Puryear do not look good.
Well, it looked like Regan Smith came off the wall and just got into the right rear of Stacy Puryear and turned him around.
And Regan keeps going, and then the aftermath.
Yeah, well, Marty Ward was checking up, and Charlie Ford got into him.
Here we go again. There's Puryear, starts to make a right turn with Regan Smith on the outside. Smith's got it locked up.
I got to tell you, that is the most eerie feeling, you know, for Stacy Puryear. You're going down a straightaway, and all of a sudden you feel your car turn right. See it right there? Yeah, it gets hit in the right rear, and all that does is just turns you right into the outside wall.
So Stacy Puryear, who has been involved in a couple of incidents and gotten through them cleanly, may have taken the final shot here at this point. There it is. There's the contact from on board the Black's Tire Service car. And some guys with front row seats for the action up there, peeking through the fence. One of them fell off the wall there.
Yeah, I would have fallen off too.
No kidding. Yep, he's reaching through the fence there. That is a spoiler. We call that a spoiler. There's Marty Ward.
Look, he's walking crooked. Look at this.
Yep.
Oh, he's laying down.
Oh, he is not feeling.
He's hurt.
He took a shot there, backed it into the wall hard, and then got hit. So while Marty Ward is being attended by the safety crew, we'll take a break. We'll let you know about him when we come back. Stacy Puryear surveying the damage on his race car that so many people were cheering for here tonight, the Black's Tire Service entry number 92. And Stacy, it's bad, let me tell you.
Yeah, definitely. Look at the left rear tire on that. It's pointing inside the race car. Definitely the rear end or panel bars.
Here's what happened as Puryear got turned around, and look at Marty Ward. Bang into the wall. We saw him collapse in the infield, but the word is now that sore ribs, but he's okay. We're looking forward to seeing him next time at Peach State. Let's take a look at one of our special awards here tonight. The Incentive Risk Management Award goes to Robert Powell, who got pushed around by Bobby Gill, but saved it.
Yeah, do you notice all of that smoke? That was tire smoke because he didn't take his foot off the throttle. And that's why the car spun completely 360. And he was able to keep going, is that when he started to spin, he kept his foot in the throttle.
2 former rookie contenders, but all veterans this year in the top 5 right now.
Uh-oh.
As they circle the racetrack slowly.
Rookies in the top 5.
Yeah, none right now. Not so far. We've had them there for the last 3 races, but right now the top 5 are all veteran drivers led by Mike Laughlin Jr. Marty Lindley and Steve Christian, of course, in 2nd and 5th spots were the rookie contenders for that title last year that Steve Christian ended up taking. And then we look back to Regan Smith, who was the first rookie in the field, and he is running in 7th, I believe, right now.
All right, where's the straight race car?
That we would have to look a little harder for as we get ready to go back to the green flag. And Mike Laughlin Jr. edges away a little bit, and as the flag drops, he opens up another car length on Marty Lindley. A green-white checker finish here tonight at Myrtle Beach, as we have circled under caution for quite some time after that last incident.
You know, green and white checker, Mike Laughlin sure wasn't holding anything back coming off the corner. He got really close to that wall.
Jerry Rector's the guy that's getting a little bit of a challenge as Johnny Rumley gets sideways. And now Mike Laughlin Jr., look, they can't even watch. They can't even watch. They're just hoping and praying that he hangs on to take this one. His crew chief, John Kellett, couldn't even watch as Mike Laughlin Jr. is going to take this one without a problem. With a 2-lap finish, nobody had anything for the man who could have very well been the fastest from the very beginning of this weekend. And in fact, the W.J. Clemens Investments Crew Chief Award is going to go to John Kellett. Maybe that's why he couldn't watch. He knew he was going to get the award. He's just shy.
Look at Marty Lindley.
Jr. Yeah, Marty Lindley congratulating him, saying, you know what, if I coulda, I woulda.
Yeah.
The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series has been brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by Jackaroo Sauces. Jackaroo tastes so great they named a steakhouse after us. By Naturally Fresh Dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. And by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. Mike Laughlin Jr. squeezing his way out through the window and celebrating in a big way. Let's go down to Steven.
Well, Michael, congratulations. That was an unbelievably dominant run, and I didn't expect you to be able to pull away that easy. Did you expect a charge from the 01 car?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I got to thank the good Lord, you know. I tell you what, we couldn't do it without him, and I tell you what, how about this brand new Laughlin chassis, you know? I mean, it took it to him tonight. Can't say enough about, you know, our sponsors, IRM. You know, I got to thank Bill Clemens for all that he's done for us. You know, help. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be racing. You know, I got to thank him, you know, my father, Carrera Shots, Griffith. Hell of a night.
Well, talk about the career roller coaster that you've had, especially in this series over the last year or so. You've been at the top and the bottom, now at the top again.
Well, that's just racing, I guess, man. I tell you what, I can't say, you know, we run into some bad luck last year. You know, we got a little hot, they got a little hot. And this year we just kept, you know, the first couple races we messed the motors up or whatnot. And, man, I tell you what, we're tickled to death.
I think Michael Laughlin's back.
That's right.
And Michael Laughlin becomes the guy who's eligible for the $500,000. No one else. Marty Lindley running in second.
Jerry Rector third. Good finish.
There's Regan Smith, the first rookie. Robert Powell, not technically a rookie, but a first-time racer. Good shot for him. And there's some more of the rookie drivers, Brian Vickers, Kevin Barrett, etc. Giving these guys their props, along with the veterans like Don Satterfield. Darren Kelly, who fought back to 19th out of 41st. Not bad. Not the best run to the front. That honor will be reserved for another driver here in a few minutes.
And you see Bobby Gill ends up 30th. That's going to hurt his points chase right now.
Certainly was. Let's go back downstairs now as Stephen Cox has corralled the runner-up in this race. How about Marty Lindley?
Well, this guy has his hands full, or had his hand full. Tell me how you finished that race.
Oh yeah, we had all kind of problems tonight. It started off in the first part of the race, and thing wouldn't stay in fourth gear. It kept hopping out of gear in 1 and 2, so I just had to grab the gear shifter and drive it one hand all night. And we come in and beat everybody out of the pits, and I thought we was gonna be pretty good, and something with the clutch broke. I had no clutch pedal, and I was having to. They kept red flagging the race, and I was having to put that thing in fourth gear and just run the starter up to get it going. And we just needed a green flag and run. I like to congratulate Michael. He had a good car. He led most of the laps, and he deserved to win this race. I just can't wait till we get to Peach State. We got off a good car.
Well, Mike Laughlin Jr. is opening the champagne run, everybody. You don't want to be around when the big happy guy is celebrating. Here's the points. Gosselin's still the leader.
Marty Lindley jumps to second. What a good run for him tonight.
Well, big jumps are possible early in the season. Later on, it's going to get a lot harder to move up. So if you're going to do it, you better do it now. Bobby Gill, well, he's got to wait for another race. Hard Charger, sponsored by State Fair brand corn dogs, goes to Robert Powell. He gets not only the smart move, but the Hard Charger award for starting 35th and finishing in 8th. John Wood still the class of the rookie field, and it is a classy field. Look at the battle for second between Vickers and Fletcher there. But it's Regan Smith who gets the Miller Lite Rookie of the race, who started in 14th and finished in 6th spot. Hats off, a tip of the Hooters cap to Regan Smith. Join us here on Speed Vision for the Miller Lite 250, Friday, May 26th at 8 p.m. from Peach State. And all your racing action can be had on the internet at www.speedvision.com. Congratulations to Mike Laughlin. But Mark Brooks, the man for whom this race was named, would be mighty proud of this young man.